Hey there, Aurelie here from withhisgifts.com. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. Today I have another quick video tutorial for you, and we are going to learn how to create this lovely card. So let's get started. The stamp set that we're using today is the Flourishing Phrases stamp set, along with the Flourish Thinlit dies. The ink color that we're using today is the Smoky Slate, and we'll also be using the Stampin' Right marker in the Dapper Denim. For our cardstock, I have my card base here in Dapper Denim, and that is cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I have a layer of the Whisper White cut at 4 by 5 1/4. A smaller piece of the Whisper White cut at 2 1/2 by 3 3/4. And then a scrap piece of the Dapper Denim. Some of the other things that we'll be using today are my scoreboard. We'll also be using the snail adhesive, the fine tip glue pen, some Stampin' dimensionals. We'll be using the clear embossing powder, a bone folder, scissors, a sponge, about 7 1/2 inches of the Very Vanilla lace trim, and my distress tool. Okay, I always like to get started with cutting out anything that requires the big shot, so I'm going to go ahead and do that today. So I have my magnetic platform, I have an acrylic die. I'm going to grab my scrap piece of the Dapper Denim, and we will be using this die here. So oops, let's do it the right way. So we will be cutting that out. My acrylic plates have seen better days. I actually have a brand new big shot coming soon, so I'm excited about that. So again, magnetic platform acrylic plate, cardstock die, second acrylic plate. I'm going to run that through the big shot and be right back. Okay, so here's the lovely piece that was cut from that die. How gorgeous is that? We're going to set this aside and we will use that a little later. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is grab both pieces of my Whisper White. I'm going to go ahead and grab a scrap piece of paper because we're going to do some heat embossing, and I want to capture my clear embossing powder onto my scratch sheet of paper, my Smoky Slate ink pad. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and get my anti-static bag rubbed on the pieces here. And what the anti-static bag does, it just removes the moisture from the cardstock so that your powder sticks only to the ink, because that will be the only moist thing on there. So we are going to, let me show you what stamps we're going to be stamping. We're going to use this lovely Flourish here. And then for our sentiment, we are using the With Sympathy. Now I'm making a sympathy card. I work at a church. We get prayer requests all the time, and sometimes those prayer requests are from people that are experiencing the loss of a loved one. So I always like to have them handy because although they're not the most favorite cards to make, they are the most appreciated. So I like to keep them handy. So okay, so I have my With Sympathy stamp. I'm going to ink it up in the Smoky Slate. Stamp off real quick just to make sure there's nothing stuck on my stamp. Then down in the lower left corner, I am going to stamp that like so. Okay, then I'm going to quickly add some embossing powder. Okay, and grab my heat tool, and I'm going to go ahead and heat set this. Okay, so there's that. How lovely. And for those of you wondering why I didn't just use the the silver embossing powder. I do have the silver embossing powder, but the silver embossing powder would have created shiny, shimmery, silver, flashy, which is good for some projects, but that's not the look that I was going for here. This is a more muted. I don't know if you can see that, but it's muted. There's a little shine to it, but it's more muted, which is more appropriate for the card that I'm making. So that is why I chose not to use the silver. So now I'm going for my smaller of the Whisper White pieces and the larger of my stamps. And I'm going to ink that up in the Smoky Slate because, again, that is the only ink color that we're using aside from the marker. Okay, and we're going to try to center this as much as we can here, and there will be some that go over the edge, but that's fine. As long as we get most of it, we are happy. Okay. Okay, I'm not 100% happy with that one, so I'm going to flip this over. And we're going to try that one more time. Okay. Let's see. All right, let me try that one more time. Let me turn this over and ink it this way. Sometimes with a bigger stamp, you get more coverage with your ink when you do it this way. Go ahead and rub that off like that. Okay, so now let's go back in and press down. Okay, okay, that is much better. I am happy with that. Quickly, with our clear embossing powder, we're going to cover our flourish. Okay, let's make sure that we have it completely covered. Okay. Okay, and set that aside, and I'm going to go ahead and collect this embossing powder back into my little container. Alrighty, put my top on there, and then let's go ahead and heat set this. Okay, and there we go. Again, there is a little bit of shine, but it's more subtle than the silver, which is exactly what we were going for. Okay, the next thing I want to do is close up my ink pad and grab my marker and the Dapper Denim, and I am going to color in just the petals of my flower. My flowers, there's 3 of them. So just coloring it and filling it in completely. Just like so. Okay. Okay, there's 1 flower. We'll do that with the other 2. And this piece will be ready to proceed to the next step. There's that. I am going to go ahead and put some heat on my markers just to make sure that they're dry. Okay, so there is that. The next thing I'm going to do, still working with those 2 pieces, I'm going to go ahead and grab my scoreboard. I'm going to start with my bigger of the 2 pieces. I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to go ahead and score every 1/2 inch. So every 1/2 inch I am going to score just like so. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. We're going to do the same thing with this piece here. We're going to flip it over and score at every 1/2 inch. Okay, and what we're going to do is create a wood grain that effect. Now, this is not my technique. This is a tried and true technique that's been around for quite some time. It is lovely for creating wood grain looks on your cards. So yeah, if you hadn't done it before, you're in for a treat. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my craft mat because I'm gonna start playing with ink, and I want to just protect my tabletop here. Okay, alrighty. So there's that. Back with our crumb cake. Okay, I'm gonna open this up, and then I'm gonna use this end here because it's closer to the edge than this, so we want to be as close to the edge as possible. I'm gonna turn this way, and then I am going to lightly, I don't know that, yeah, just lightly, don't press down, just lightly put it down and then come down like so, just like that. If you have darker spots on the top, that's fine. That just adds character to your faux wood that you're creating, just like that. Isn't that lovely? Okay, that's all done. How gorgeous is that? And we're going to do the same thing to this one. So just barely come down. Sometimes when you've just used it, the ink needs to redistribute to that corner, so sometimes I like to push it down just a little bit so I can get some of that ink. Okay, there we go. Okay, just like that. Okay, lovely, perfect, perfect. All right, perfect. Now we're going to distress these pieces. I mean, this is a simple card. It really is. We are almost there. Okay, so I'm going to go around all four sides to both of these pieces. Distress tool. Okay, so there are our pieces. The next thing I want to do is go ahead and grab my Smoky Slate and my sponge, and I am going to go ahead and sponge around the edges of both of these pieces here. Okay, so there are our pieces. Now for the wood grain technique, I recommend, if you hadn't done it before, to just start with a scrap piece of paper so that you can get a feel for how much pressure to put on your ink pad. I've done it quite a bit, and looking at this, this looks okay, but I probably would have preferred not so much ink on the corner and also on here. And when you're making a video, you're always feel rushed for some reason, so your project never comes out, you know, the same as the one that you made before you made the video. So this is the project before. So again, a little practice with your ink pad and the wood grain technique so that you can get the look that you want. If this is the look that you want, yeah, then you can go for it. But just so you can get a feel for how much pressure to put on your ink pad. So practice. That would be good. Okay? Alrighty. So I'm going to set these aside. We're going to come back to those in a second. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab my Smoky Slate, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some ink here, like so. And I'm looking, and because it's not out, I'm going to say that I didn't say I was going to need my spritzer, and hold on a second, I think I went to fill it up with water and left it, so that's probably why I forgot to mention it. Okay, that is exactly where it was. I was filling it up with water. So again, took my ink pad and just rubbed it on my craft mat. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that up, and then what I'm going to do next is spritz some water onto the ink. Okay, so we're just creating a pool of ink on our pad. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab my Very Vanilla lace trim. And it's not going to look very vanilla for too long because it's going to pick up this lovely color so that it coordinates with our card. Like so. Okay. And let me go ahead, clean this up a little bit. Squeezing the excess water off. I'm going to clean that off. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and dry this. Okay, so there's our not so very vanilla lace trim. Nice and ready to coordinate with our card. And I think that we are now ready to start assembling our card. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my card base and my bone folder. Okay. I'm going to put some snail adhesive on the back of this. Okay. I'm going to set that in the front. Oh, set it the right way. Okay. Like so. Okay. So there is that. Next, what we want to do is go ahead and grab our piece here. Now, I cut this down quite a bit because I mean, I want it to use this shape, but I don't know, for some reason playing with this, I wasn't quite getting the look that I wanted. So I ended up cutting it down some, and I'm going to do that again here. So I just cut this here, this little stem way down at the bottom. And then, yes, I'm going to cut off this little flower here. I believe right at the, yeah, right here. So I just cut that down. It just fit the front of my card better with the look that I was going for. So you don't have to cut it. You can use it if you'd like. Okay, so we're going to glue that down using our fine tip glue pen. So right about there, I'm gonna flip this over, and I am going to put some glue on the stem. Okay, looks like I'm clogged here. Let me unclog it. Did that work? Yep, it worked. Okay, so I'm applying the glue down the stem. This is perfect for gluing down these little intricate die cuts. The fine tip glue pen is. Yeah. And it dries clear, so if it oozes, you know, oozes out of the side of your piece, don't worry about it because it's going to dry clear. Okay, let me pick this up. And I am trying to see where I placed it, so I'm going to use that forward. Okay, so I think this looks just right about good to me. Okay, alrighty. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab the smaller of the pieces, and I'm going to take my ribbon. I'm going to wrap it around the back, and I'm just going to tie a knot over to the right. Okay, so Just a regular old knot, nothing fancy. Okay, come in. And this lace has a little stretch to it. Oops. So, yeah, you don't need a lot of it. You can actually pull it quite a bit. So isn't that lovely? All right, so now what we're gonna do is flip that over and grab our dimensionals. And we're gonna use 4 dimensionals, 1 on each corner, like so. Okay. We're gonna get the little backings off of here. Okay, and then we are going to set that right about there. And there you have it. Super duper easy, super duper quick, and super duper elegant. So make sure to jot down the supply list down below. Head on over to my website at withhisgifts.com and place your order today so you can make these lovely cards at home. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love the opportunity to earn your business. Go ahead and visit me at my website at withhisgifts.com. Check out what I'm all about and hit me up with any questions that you have. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video tutorial, make sure to give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, thank you and have a great day.